But I think the one that really has me super duper excited right now would have to be EAT strategy, which stands for expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. And what that strategy basically says is if I go to a website, I want to know that the content I'm reading is from an expert. So a prime example of that, if I am looking up how to reduce diabetes or what kind of diabetes medication I should be taking, I'm hoping to hit a blog post that's written by a doctor who has those acronyms behind their name. So I can see that this is coming from an expert community. That is the sort of really good place to sort of be in, because you're having this written from someone in the medical community. So people are going to be more willing to trust that versus going to a blog post that's just written by a content writer. So
That's
yeah, each strategy is the one for me.
It's a really interesting perspective, and I haven't really heard that take on it much before. Of like, well, EAT definitely starts with expertise. So why not start the content by an expert themselves? Not necessarily the website hosting it has to be the expert, but the writer themselves can just be the expert, right? And that's pretty cool. I definitely really like that. I mean, how do you find some of these writers when it's like what you're talking about, like a doctor to write something or something like that, when you kind of come from backgrounds where we've had traditionally just writers write stuff, or content marketing kind of professionals, or dare I say it, AI people writing content, or
Yeah,
not people, AI computers writing content, which is the
yeah,
opposite of expert. So
right. Yeah. No, I mean, depending on the brand. So I work for a healthcare company and we employ people from the medical community. So that's one avenue that you can certainly tap into and sort of using them. Another thing that we would do is we would use a company called Content Writers, and they also staff people from the medical community. So you have some people already there who can sort of write this content, and what's hugely important for EAT is to have that byline that fundamentally says this was written by Jane Doe, comma, PhD, right? Because again, that signals to the users that, oh, I can trust this content. This was written by a doctor, so I can trust the advice, or at least the content that I am reading, that is sort of from here. So depending
yeah.
on how your company is structured, you might have those people on staff, or you can just reach out to a company that can do that for you.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, you can also have them be kind of edited by that person to kind of claim that. But it's kind of
Sure.
interesting because now I'm thinking like, okay, so doctors, they got the MD, or some people have PhDs, or they have a lot of other symbols, and nurses, RNs, and you can kind of utilize a lot of that in your healthcare sphere. But then I'm kind of thinking a little bit outside the box here of, well, it works well in the legal field, and it works well like even for like licensed plumbers, right? So if you think about like there's a lot of people that in the community that work for kind of the small local and licensed plumbers, or a whole bunch of different, or locksmiths, all these kind of professionals that do have expertise. And you could say like the locksmith with 27 years experience, picking locks and opening doors for people that lost their keys, right? That gives you a little
Mm-hmm.
good byline. I love that. I love that. And then I
Mm-hmm.
guess you could always use the CEO of the company, right? Of if you don't have that kind of niche, right? If you don't have a service or a professional kind of niche, and you're just more of like a business that provides like kind of businessy services, then you can always provide it with the CEO. I mean, do you think that would work as well? Or is that, what do you think?
I mean, I'll give you a prime example. If I was into beauty, which I am because I'm a girl, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I am doing research on a makeup brand. So, for example, one of my favorite is Fenty Beauty. And if I see an article written by Rihanna, the person who literally created Fenty Beauty, then
Yeah.
I'm going to trust the advice that I'm going to get from that content
Yeah.
versus someone who just might be sort of like a beauty blogger per se,